This is my first time to go live by myself on YouTube, so bear with me. I hope it works. If it doesn't, well, I guess we'll try something else next time. We are going to be making Scottish shortbread today. It's something that I've made for probably 30, 35 years. The recipe was given to me at a cookie swap, and it was told at that time that it was an authentic Scottish recipe. I have made it every single year since I've gotten it. It's a recipe that you can make ahead. It stays fresh as long as it's in an airtight container for at least up to 3 months. Not because I think it does, I've tried it, I know it does. So it's great to, like, if you want to make this and send it to somebody, it's great for that. It's great for shipping. And I know a lot of y'all have seen me and Mary over the last few months on here, and we wanted to do this recipe because we have not done it live. I miss my sister today, but the roads are frozen over, and we're from Texas. We're not from where there's this weather is. They're used to it. We're not used to it, so we don't get out on the roads when it's like this. For the majority, Texans don't know how to drive in snow and ice, and I certainly don't know how to drive in snow and ice, and I don't want my sister getting out in it because it's just too risky to do it. So I'm by myself today, so bear with me. Welcome to everybody. We hope that if you have friends that haven't subscribed to our channel, that you will ask them to subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, so thank you again, and we're going to get started. I've got 1 pound of butter. It's softened butter, and I've already been beating it with the mixer just so I wouldn't have to beat it the whole time that I was on here. This has 4 ingredients in it. It's all it's got in it. A pound of butter, softened. For those of you who ask, I use salted butter. It is a store brand. That's what I buy. That's what I use. And I've got, I'm going to turn my mixer on again and let that start. It's 1.5 cups of sugar. So for those of you who watch your sugar intake for whatever reason, these cookies have 4 grams of sugar per cookie, which might sound like a lot, but it's very low in sugar compared to most cookies that you buy or you make. So I'm going to add a half a cup sugar with my butter, and we're going to cream that. I'm just gradually adding it. Anybody that cooks knows that there's noise in the kitchen when you're baking, because, you know, especially if you're using a mixer, you've got the noise from the mixer. And then that's my cup. That was my half a cup, and I'm going to do 1 more cup. And for those who wonder, this recipe is in our cookbook. So I can't tell you the page because I may be looking at an old cookbook, but it is in there, and it's Scottish shortbread. It's under cookies. So I'm going to add my other cup. We're going to get that cream. I'm just kind of slowly adding it. I'm trying not to move this camera. I know that y'all like to see what's going on, but Mary's better with this camera than I am. And I don't want the picture to be blurry, so I'm not moving it. I'm going to let it stay where it's at. So we got our sugar in there. It's 1.5 cups. And then we're going to get that creamed before we start adding our eggs. I'm going to just kind of scrape down the side of the mixing bowl. Paddle for this mixer does have a scraper on it, but it doesn't always scrape down to the bottom, so I like to keep the spatula handy to do that. So I'm going to just let that cream just a second, and then I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. This is 3 egg yolks. These are extra large eggs. That's all I buy, unless I absolutely can't find them. Chickens are bigger, but eggs are smaller, and I don't know why, but they are. And I like a good size egg, so I use extra large. So this is 3 egg yolks. I'm going to add these one at a time. Just kind of get them mixed in. want to leave any in this measuring cup. I want all of my stuff out in the bowl. I know I'm a little bit particular about that, but that's how Molly taught me, and that's how I like to do it. I like to make sure everything gets in there. I was on just a minute ago on Facebook talking about my giveaway and letting everybody know that I was going to be live on YouTube in a few minutes, and Mike almost got caught in the camera. He thought I was talking to Mary, and he's come running in here and he had his pajamas on. I said, you don't know how close you were to being on camera in your pajamas. He would have got me too. Okay, so we've got our egg yolks in there. So now I'm going to add flour. This is the fourth ingredient, and it is 4.5 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. And the reason why we tap this down like that, because there's air pockets sometimes, and we want to make sure that we get all the flour in there. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup. I'm going to turn the mixer down just a pinch. I don't want it flying all over me. I have a flour guard for my big mixer, but I don't for this little one. So I have to be careful, or even put a dish towel over it. So I'll just be a little bit careful with this. Now, for those who wondered, no baking soda, no baking powder, no salt, no vanilla. It's got 4 ingredients: butter, sugar, eggs, and flour. That's all that's in this. And trust me, it is delicious. You won't think that it needs a thing once you get these made. Okay, so I got that mixed in. Now I'm going to have 4 more cups. I'm going to do a cup at a time. My little handy levelers, and some of y'all have noticed that, I think we told y'all on one of our videos that you can actually order these as replacement parts, because you only get one with your set of measuring spoons, measuring cups. And you can order them as replacements, and I have them in all of my canisters. They're just so handy to use. I know you can grab a case knife. I know you can use any other kind of gadget, but I just like the fact that you can just keep them in your canister. You don't have to go to the drawer to look for something. They're just already in there, so they're real handy. Okay, this is my second cup. This is gold medal flour. That's what we use. That's what I use the majority of the time. This is 2 cups. This is a great dough. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get the rest of the flour mixed in and I carry it over to the counter. Whoops. Splattered a little bit of flour. I want to make sure it's mixed up in the bottom of the bowl before I add any more. So it's okay. This is my 3rd cup. And I'll put the recipe in the comments, because I haven't figured out any other way to do this at the present. So the recipe will be in the comments after the video is over. A few minutes after it's over. I won't do it as soon as I get it over, but tap. I do this all the time when I'm in the kitchen. Okay, that's 3. We got 1 more cup, but I'm going to wait until this gets mixed up before I add this last cup. You can feel my mixer slowing down just a bit. Okay, last cup. I'm going to do this real slow, because I don't want it to fly everywhere. This is a smaller KitchenAid mixer. I use my big ones when I do double batches or triple batches or quadruple batches. I've done quadruple batches. This is a recipe that you don't want to half. It just doesn't do good halving, but you can double it if you've got a heavy duty mixer. I would not double it in this mixer because it's not doesn't have a high enough horsepower. But my big mixer, I can double it, and I do double it lots of times when I'm making it in my big mixer, but not this one. Turn it up just a pinch. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands just for a second. I got a little bit of dough here, so just bear with me while I step away from the camera. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off of here, and you'll see it's not sticky. This dough is not sticky at all. It's got lots of butter in it. So I'm just going to pull this away from my beater. Make sure I get everything off here. Because I know exactly how many pieces this makes, and I don't want to leave a half a piece or a whole piece on my beater, because then my pieces will come out wrong. I imagine some of y'all say, you know, I do that twice as fast as she does, and that's okay. You can do it however you want to. I just have my own way of doing things, and I like doing things my way, and I like things. I've done this enough that I know that, you know, you want to do it. At least I want to do it right. I want to do it the way I want to do it. So anyway, us Texans are a little bit hard-headed bunch. We like to do things the way we like to do them. Okay, so I'm going to take my bowl off of here, and I'm going to show you this, show you the dough. You can tell that it's completely separated from the bowl. And I'm going to move it over here to the counter, and then I'll move the camera because we're going to put it in the pans over here. Just get this mess over here out of the way. I do not like anything on my hands. I probably wash my hands 12 or 14 times while I'm in the kitchen doing something. I don't like anything on my hands, so I'm very, very particular. Now I've got to wash them again because I touched that. Okay, so I've got my oven preheated to 325. Actually, I've had it on for a few minutes. And I'm going to dump this off on parchment paper. Make sure that I get everything out of my bowl. And I do a lot of weighing of stuff. I haven't actually weighed this dough, how much it weighs, but I know I'll show you how I do it in a second, and that kind of determines. I use my little bench scraper to cut off sections to put in the pan. So I just kind of form like a log here, and this I've done it this way for years. Let me wash my hands and see if I can get those comments off of there so you can actually see. Okay, maybe I don't have to. Okay, so somebody said something about cleanliness. Our mom and daddy both, but our daddy, oh my goodness, you better have that kitchen clean. You better have that house clean. He likes clean stuff, and my husband is just as bad. He likes things done right, and he does not like anything to be messy or dirty. So we probably wash more clothes for two people than probably families 6 or 8 wash because we wash clothes constantly. Okay, let me wash my hands again. If any of you happen to see a cat walking around here or hearing a meow, we do not have any inside animals or pets. We have had for years, but we don't anymore. We lost the last one that we had, which all the last one did was sleep. You never even knew the cat was here, but this is an outside cat that Mike brought in from the cold, and she's been in the house the last 3 days. So she doesn't like being in, but he just felt like she would make it outside, so we pretty much just made her come in. So if y'all hear meow or see her, well, that's Gypsy, and she's an outside cat. So, okay, so I've got my dough here, and I'm using my little bench scraper, and I'm just gonna mark this into threes, into thirds. And I know this is something that's probably anybody that makes this may not do, but I'll show you why I do it. I just start cutting it and putting a little bit in the pan. This pan is not greased. You do not need to grease it. It needs to be a non-stick pan. This is, I guess, probably about a 9 by 13 cookie sheet. It has a lip on it, so I've never cooked these on just a open cookie sheet or a flat cookie sheet without lips, but without a lip. But anyway, I'm just gonna start mashing this down in here, and then I told y'all I was going to, well, I said on Facebook I was going to talk about myself. Mama always said, I think as she got older, she talked more, she was more open to talk what was on her mind than she was in our younger years. And I don't know if it was meds that she was on or what, but it was kind of funny because one day she always loved, no matter what it was, she loved for us to tell her about us. But she always said, Charles and Linda likes to talk about themselves. And it's funny, every time I think about it, I laugh because we both do. I think Mary and Edward probably defer more to talk about somebody else, but Charles and I like talking about ourselves, so y'all have to bear with me. But lots of people have asked about us, about our lives, do we have any children? Of course, everybody knows Mary's got children, grandchildren. Mike and I were not blessed with children. It wasn't by choice, but we were not blessed with children. So we do not have any children of our own. We love our nieces and nephews, our great nieces and nephews, and our great nieces and nephews. We have them in a lot of areas of Texas. We have some in Ohio, and we have some in Florida. We love every one of them. And we try to put our love, our time, and energy, and invest in them. And they love us. They love us in return. So there was a lot of times in my life that it was a very touchy subject with me, and it still can be now. But just so everybody knows, it wasn't by choice. We just never were blessed with children. So. But the good news is there's plenty of love, and there's plenty of kids to go around. So there's plenty of kids for us to love, and we have some great kids that love us, and we thank God for that. So you'll see that this recipe is going to make about 2.5 of these pans. So I've used the first third of the dough. And y'all can tell that this dough is not sticky. I don't have any on my hands at all. And then I'm going to just cut a little bit off the edges. And I'm just going to fill in these holes until I get it pretty much all the same thickness. And I'll do the other pan, and then what's left, I'll do the partial pan, and then I'll show y'all how I score them. Shortbread, after it's cooked, after it's set up, it firms up. So it needs to be scored before it's baked, and it needs to be cut as soon as you take it out of the oven. Now, you can cut it after it sets, but it's a whole lot harder to cut it after it's set. So it's really important and easier if you'll cut it as soon as it comes out of the oven. Now, sometimes if it looks like the corners don't have quite enough in them, I'll kind of put just a little bit more in them. And it doesn't have to be smooth. I used to use a rolling pin, baby rolling pin, try to smooth this out. But I don't even do that anymore because it's not necessary for it to be smooth. And we'll go ahead and get these done. And then I'm going to show y'all how I cut it. Let's see, I was talking about myself. So I was 32 years old when I got married. I was not young, or at least, 32 is young now when I'm 72, fixing to be 73. But it was first marriage for Mike and I both. Neither one of us had ever been married. And I worked for the church, in the church, my entire life, and just figured that's what it would always be. But then Mr. Mike came along, and that changed. So, not that I still didn't work and couldn't work, but of course your life changes after you're married. So anyway, we're God has been good to us, and we never ever want to fail to thank Him. And I will tell you something: if you know anything about Mike, if he's around you for 5 minutes, he's going to be telling you about the Lord. He's going to be telling you something that the Lord done for him. He was not raised the way I was raised. He come from a family that had a church background. His granddad was a Nazarene. He wasn't a minister, but he was I think he was a deacon in their church there in Kentucky. And so Mike has a religious family background, but his because he lost his mother when he was a young boy with leukemia, he wasn't raised the way that I was raised with a mother, and I would never say anything bad. The Daltons are very good people, very good people. They live a long time. I always tell him he'll outlive me because they live a long time. He says he won't, but I think he probably will. But and we've been up there to see him a few times. And his stepmother actually just had a birthday a couple of days ago. So Joyce, if you're watching, I hope that you had a happy birthday, and I hope you're staying warm in all that cold weather in Ohio. I know y'all are used to it, but we're not down here. So we've been back in Texas a long time. We did live 2 or 3 places, Mississippi and Kentucky and Albuquerque in our first years of marriage. But we've been in Texas a long time. And I always tell Mike, you won't get me to leave now since I got home. So I think he pretty much knows that. And so my thing that I did my entire life, my first love was music. I loved music. Mother said one time that I started singing before I started talking, which I'm sure she knew, she was there. So I've just always loved to sing. I've always loved music. And my pinky mom had an old upright piano with that round cushion, or the round stool that swivels around. And that's what I learned to play the piano on, was her old upright. And just picking out keys, just picking out something by sound, by ear. And I started playing piano in church when I was about 12. And Mary and I started singing in church when we were 3 and 4 years old. We couldn't even see over the pulpit, and we would stand to the side of it so we could see and so they could see us. But we grew up in church. That was what was important to us, and that was the biggest part of our life, was school, family, and church. That's what we did. And we loved it. We didn't know anything else, and we were very happy that we had the life that we had. So some people would say we were sheltered. We never really looked at it that way, but there were things that we were not exposed to that a lot of other people, even some of our neighbor kids, were exposed to. We were not exposed to it. So I thank God for our upbringing and for our parents and for the way we were raised. But then after our dad died, well, we moved to Mississippi. We went just to go for the summer, and I wound up staying, oh, I don't know, close to 20 years. And I worked in the church there and done everything from young people's leader, choir director, played the piano, played the organ, worked in the youth center, hours and hours and every week. I mean, we were a working church. All you that know what Pentecostals do, we work. We love to work, we love to make money, and we love to eat. So we were right there in the middle of all of it, working and helping raise money for the church and the young people for the young people's trips and to keep everything going. Things are a lot different now than they were then because, for one thing, things cost a lot more. You know, young people's camp meeting back then was $10 or $20, and everybody thought that was a lot of money. Now it's probably $200 or $300 just for a kid to go to youth camp. But they still raise money for that, so the kids can go to conferences in different places, and not just in their home district, but in different places. And also want to mention about Alabama next week. We'll be going to Alabama, and we hope to see some of y'all there. And I hope I'm not boring y'all. I feel like I'm just talking because I'm used to having somebody here with me, so I feel like I'm probably getting pretty boring right now. But I've got this done. Y'all see I've got 2.5 pans. So I'm going to score it, and then I'm going to get this in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of, basically I'm guesstimating it. I'm doing a half, and then I'm doing half again. So you got 4, if you can see that, 4 lines, and then I'm going to do 5 down. So, and I've done this so many times, I pretty much know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go all the way over here. And instead of going back and forth, this is my little cookie deals, and I just put PM on it for Pinky Malls. So I just do a stamp a P. I can do these both at one time, but just because I'm on camera, I'll mess it up. So I'm just going to do them one at a time. So I've got a little PM on it. So that one didn't work very good. So you'll see. You may not can see the PMs, but that's, let's see, how many pieces is that? There's 20 pieces in this pan. I know that. It makes 48. 2 full pans and 1/2 a pan. So I'm going to do this other one. I've got the oven set on 325, and we're going to bake these for 20 to 22 minutes. I used to just do it 20 minutes, but I got to where I cooked them just a tad longer because I have all 3 pans in the oven. If you don't have but 1 pan in the oven, you can cook them for 20 minutes and that'll be fine. But if you're cooking all 3 pans, I'd add a couple of minutes to it to cook. And once it comes out, once your timer's up and it comes out, set them out to cool, but just don't forget to cut them. Cut them on where you're scored at. You'll just cut down the lines across and down. So this is going to be a half. So I'm just going to half this. Well, actually, scratch that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this 3. I don't want these pieces to be tiny, tiny. So you're going to get 12 pieces out of this. 4, 8, 12. And just to even this up, I'm going to just kind of score that out like that to just kind of make them the right size pieces. So this makes a very nice batch of shortbread. And I'm going to pop in the oven. And so there you got the part of the pan. So give me just a second here and I'll get this in the oven. And we've showed these before, but I keep these oven liners in my oven, and it looks like I need to take it out and wash it. But this is a lifesaver on your oven when you probably can't see it. It's down here on the bottom. It's just so nice to not have to worry about anything running over. You just, if it does, you just take it out and um, wash it, and that's it. Especially after it dries, all you do is just basically just knock it off. Now you'll notice that I'm putting the partial one on the top shelf. I don't normally cook stuff on the bottom shelf, but I've got the partial and this on the top, and then that one on the bottom. I'm going to set my timer for 22 minutes. Okay. And I'm probably not going to stay on long enough for that to cook, but I will post a picture. Well, I say I'll post a picture. I may have to go back on and do a live video to just show what it looks like, but because it takes 22 minutes, I'm going to come over here to the piano and just play a couple of songs. Wipe my hands off again. Now, y'all probably going to see some stuff in my living room here that's blankets or robes or something on here. I didn't move anything, so if you see something over there, that's what it is. And I'm just going to play a couple of songs here. I'm, I guess what you would call a has-been, because I don't do this except for my own entertainment or for, goodness, that looks horrible over there where I got all that stuff piled up. I got my robe and my pajama top there and laying on the couch because I take it off and put it on 2 or 3 times during the day these last 2 or 3 days. But there's a lot of people that can play and sing so much better than I can. I just don't do it much anymore, except for when our family gets together. But there's a couple people that I've been telling I was going to sing a song for, and this is going to be for everybody. There's so many people that are hurting, but especially for the lady that I told you I was going to sing a song for you. And I hope that you'll be able to watch this. If you don't watch it on YouTube, they're going to share it on Facebook, so you should be able to see it on that. So anybody that knows me knows that I love Dottie Rambo. She was one of my all-time favorite singers and songwriters. She's gone on to meet the Lord several years ago from a bus accident. But it's still, her songs are still as real to me today as they were back in the 70s when me and Paul and Pam used to sing them in church all the time. So, Till the Storm Passes By. In the dark of the midnight, have I walked in my face, while the storm held around me. There was no hiding place. In the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds go forever from the sky. Keep me safe, let me stay in the hollow of your hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. little tiny songbook that I used years ago in the 60s and 70s. I have B flat on that. I played that in G, so that shows you how your voice changes as you get older. I used to hit a high and low notes, but your voice is not strong, or at least mine's not strong like it used to be. But anyway, um, it's um, it's something about music that soothes the soul. It's always ministered to me. A lot of people will not listen to preaching, or they've got something negative to say about it, and that does not take away from the Word of God. We all know it. We know that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. But it's sometimes that a song will touch someone when a sermon will not. So it's kind of like your life. Your life example sometimes does more than somebody sitting on and listening to a sermon. So for that reason, music has always been very close to me, because I know that it does touch people. It reaches down into their soul and stirs their heart. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we're going to see the King. Okay, y'all, I messed up. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. I think I'll just play something just how I feel. I'll just play a little bit of something, and then we're gonna probably go ahead and get off here, and then I'll come back on real quick and show y'all the finished product. So y'all remember, I'm 70, almost 73. So I mess up, I mess up. It don't mean that I still can't play, and it don't mean that I still won't play. So. I hope that y'all enjoyed that. I'm sorry that I messed up. I'm not even gonna apologize because it's music is in my soul and I feel it no matter whether or not I mess up or not. I do need to play more because that's when you're a little bit more aware of what you're playing. Just start playing one song, start playing another one. But anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I'll try to do better next time. So I'm going back over here to the kitchen. I'm smelling the shortbread, and I'll tell y'all how much time I've got left. I've got about 6 minutes left, and I'm not going to open the door because you'll see my mess here. I haven't got it cleaned up yet, but let me just come back over here to the counter and see if I can. I hate not to take this out and cut it and let y'all see what I'm doing because everybody wants to see the finished product. But get this out of the way. Looks like I'm totally a mess here with just by myself in here. But So Mary and I, and Charles and Edward, we all grew up in Nacogdoches. We're from Nacogdoches, Texas. For those that wonder where we're from, we are East Texans. It's if you're thinking it's Piney Woods, it's I don't know, probably 140 miles north of Houston. If you're thinking about Houston, it's north of Houston, and if you're thinking about Dallas, it would be southeast of Dallas, and probably it's further to Dallas from Nacogdoches than it is to Houston. I know there's a sign 138 miles to Houston right outside of Nacogdoches, so I know how far it is to Houston. But we hope that our goal when we started this was to get people in the kitchen, get them cooking. We've baked, and I do bake for locals. I don't bake very much. In fact, it's probably not to sound like I'm patting my own back, and that's exactly what it sounds like, but it's more and more rare that that I'm baking for someone because we're so busy with everything else, and we're wanting to get started on our new cookbooks that we're going to be doing. So we hope that you'll continue following us. We hope that you will tell your friends about us. We always want to give God the glory, and we want to praise Him for all of our blessings. Mary and I, you might look at us and think we've had it made in life. We have not had it made in life. We've worked very hard, but I will tell you that we were raised to do what you needed to do to make a living, as long as it's honest, it's honorable work. And so we have worked 1, 2, and 3 jobs before. Y'all have heard us talk about that. But we are at a place in our life that we both are trying to do what we love to do, and that's visit, talk about the Lord, and cook, and talk about our childhood and our old times growing up. When old times, it was old times. It was a long time ago, but I know that at least we hope that it brings back happy memories for you, and to be able to get in the kitchen with your kids and grandkids and great grandkids and to make memories for them, because we will not always be around. We know that. We want to create something for the kids to look back on and say, my Mimo did that, my Aunt Linda did that. We need to do it too. We need to keep this tradition going, to make sure that we don't lose touch with things that are important in our life. It's not things, it's not money, it's people that we love, and that's what's important in our family. So I'm still about 2 minutes away from the time, but they have cooked 20 minutes, so I'm going to get a pot holder over here, and I'm going to take a pan out, and I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to show you. Now, you can't take them out of the pan, but you do need to cut them, so you need to let them rest in the pan until they're completely cool, and then you'll take a spatula and gently, once you get one up, the others will come up real easy. But I'm going to move I'm not moving the camera. I'm going to get a pan and show you how they are. I'm going to do the half pan because it cooks a little bit faster than the other. So what we do is just, oops, let me move this over here. So it doesn't have to be a sharp knife, but I use a sharp knife because I'm going to cut down through it. So you're just going to cut along the line that you scored, that you marked. And it's very soft right now. It's very soft. You'll wonder how it's going to firm up, but it will firm up after it gets cold. And it won't be stuck to the pan because these are nonstick pans. And again, you don't want to butter it. You don't need to butter it because this has got lots of butter in it. So you don't need to butter it. So I have them cut. And you can use probably shouldn't use one that's this is a metal one. I probably shouldn't use that, but you can use one of these. And not going to take that up because if I do, it'll cut it. But this is the little piece that was on the end here. I love these little pieces. These are my little snack pieces. When I cut some off of the cookies, these are my snack pieces. So we hope that you'll try these and Let us know if you did. Let us know if you like it. And we see all kinds of comments, and some of them are kind of funny about those two old ladies. And we are old. We know we're old. That's no offense to us. We are. But that means we've lived a long time, which thank the Lord for that. And it also means that we've learned a lot along the way. A lot of them are lessons that were hard learned. A lot of them are lessons that we learned in our childhood that have stayed with us through our entire life. So God bless you. We love you. Hope to be together soon with my sister once this weather goes back to normal. And thank you for bearing with me. And please don't laugh too much at my piano playing today. Love y'all. Bye.